In this video I show you everything you need to know about scale degrees and intervals. In order to understand intervals, it's best to look at scale degrees first. Right now I'll show you all the different scale degrees using the C major scale. Our first scale degree is the root tone of the C major scale, also called the tonic. In this case, the tonic of the C major scale is quite obvious, a C. Then we have the second, third, sixth and seventh scale degree. They actually have two variants, a minor and a major version. The C major scale only uses the major versions of these scale degrees. This means the major second is a D, major third is E, major sixth is A, and major seventh is B. So now our C major scale looks like this. Then we have the fourth and fifth scale degree. They don't have a minor or major version, and that's why they are called perfect fourth and perfect fifth. In this case, the perfect fourth is F and perfect fifth is G. Our C major scale is C, D, E, F, G, A and B. What if we change our scale degrees to the minor versions? Then we get a C minor scale called the Phrygian scale. This means our second, third, sixth and seventh would change to D flat, E flat, A flat and B flat. Remember, the fourth and fifth are perfect, so they stay the same. Our C Phrygian scale looks like this. Now there's one more tone left between the fourth and the fifth. This one is called the tritone. This tone can be an augmented fourth or diminished fifth, which brings us to our next topic, diminished and augmented scale degrees. A diminished tone means a certain scale degree is lowered by an extra semitone. For example, the diminished fourth, which is F, lowered by a semitone, looks like this. For example, a diminished minor seventh, which is B flat, looks like this. We cannot diminish a major scale degree, because a major scale degree lowered by a semitone is just a minor variant of that scale degree. For example, trying to diminish our major third, which is E, lowered by one semitone is E flat. But E flat is the minor third scale degree. But hold on, if you look back to our diminished fourth, we're actually playing E. Why don't we call this the major third instead of the diminished fourth? Depending on the context, we can use diminished or augmented scale degrees, but it's really hard to explain all of this in one single video. If you really want to learn more about this, you can, for example, check out augmented sixth chords. For this video, it's important to know that, for example, a diminished fourth and major third sound the same, but theoretically they're a different tone, and we call them enharmonically equivalent. We can also increase our scale degrees by one semitone. For example, the augmented fourth, which is F, increased by a semitone, looks like this. Another example is the augmented second, which is D, increased by a semitone, and it looks like this. We cannot augment a minor scale degree, just like we can't diminish a major scale degree. For example, an augmented minor sixth, which is A flat, would become A. A is just our major sixth. So we should remember that for the second, third, sixth and seventh scale degree, we can now have four different variants. Our minor and major variant, but also a diminished and augmented variant. For example, our third scale degree can be E diminished, E minor, E major, or E augmented. For our perfect scale degrees, the fourth and the fifth, we can have three different variants. For example, our fourth can be F diminished, F perfect, and F augmented. Now that we know all the different scale degrees, we can talk about intervals. We use the same names for our intervals as we do for our scale degrees. For example, if we look at our minor sixth scale degree, we can say that the interval between our tonic and the minor sixth is a minor sixth interval. Our minor sixth interval covers a distance of 8 semitones or 4 whole tones. 1 whole tone, 2 whole tones, 3 whole tones, 4 whole tones or semitones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This means that we now can distinguish the distance of a minor sixth between any two tones. For example, let's see which tone is a minor sixth distance above E. Let's count using semitones first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Or using whole tones. 1, 2, 3, 4. A minor sixth above E is C. It's way too complicated to count all the whole tones, semitones, or a combination of both, so we can use a few tricks. First of all, we should know that both any minor or major chord has a perfect fifth. So for E, this means if we play the E major chord, we can see that our perfect fifth is B. One semitone above B is our minor sixth. Let's try another one. If we want to know the minor sixth above D, we can play D minor. A is the perfect fifth and one semitone above A is B flat. Another trick we can use is the sum of 9. If we have huge intervals such as the minor sixth, you should know that when we add a major third to the minor sixth, we are back at our initial tone. So for example, B flat is a minor sixth above D. If we add a major third to B flat, we're back at D. So this means if we want to know a minor sixth above a certain tone, we can also go a major third down. For example, we can take F. A minor sixth above F is D flat. We know this because we now go an interval of a major third down from F. Here's an overview of all the possibilities when we use the sum of 9. We shouldn't confuse the sum of 9 with the ninth interval, which takes us to our next topic, which is extended intervals. So we already know the intervals from tonic to the 7th, but we should also talk about the perfect 8th, the 9th, 11th and 13th. The perfect 8th is actually just our tonic but an octave higher. In the case of our C major scale, as you can see, that means that an interval of a perfect 8th above our tonic is also C. We also have intervals that are even larger. The 9th, for example, is actually just a second, but played an octave higher. So for example, an interval of a minor 9th above C is D flat, which is the same as a minor 2nd above C, but an octave higher. This is the same for our 11th, which is the same tone as our 4th, and our 13th, which is the same tone as our 6th, but all played an octave higher, of course. We often see these intervals used for playing chords, and if you want to learn more about that, definitely check out my video about chords. There's one more interval I want to talk about, and that's the unison. Unison is actually an interval without any distance. If you play a C, the unison is C itself. The term unison is often used when different instruments need to play the same tone. That's it for today's video. If you still have any questions, leave a comment, and also don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content. And as always, I hope to see you in the next video. In this video I will be using... Nee, niet in this video, fucker!